Welcome into another episode of the Neishloss Podcast here, presented by, of course, Neishloss Fleming and Integrity Marketing Group. I'm your host, as always, Mike Asti, and I am representing West Virginia University with my mask today because I actually have somebody from those parts. Just found out that I'm an alum of the school, but he's from those parts. But he's working now in a little different state, not too far away, and he's going to help us talk about what's going on with Humana in Virginia. And that is Zach Choate, who is a broker relationship manager for Humana in Virginia. So, Zach, first off, I enjoy the guitars there in the background. Do you play guitar? And thanks for joining me here, man.
Hey, yeah, sure thing, man. Thanks for having me. And I told you when I first saw you, I thought, man, I like you even more now wearing that West Virginia mask.
Yeah, you did say that. Man. I didn't even know that going in, so it just happened to work out. This sweater here, mine wasn't even planned either, and I'm representing.
That's just a pleasant surprise.
Yeah.
And to answer your question, yes, I do play guitar.
Awesome.
And enjoy to pick around. And if you attend a Humana training in our market, Virginia, Maryland, Delaware,
right,
you might even hear me sing.
Wow.
I've been prone to break out in songs, maybe singing Country Roads or something.
Oh,
Country
man.
Roads. Yeah, so we'll see where the
maybe you can
Mike.
close us off on this podcast here, singing Country Roads for us. But anyway, Zach, we definitely appreciate the time in. Zach Choate, again, broker relationship manager, dealing with Virginia and several other states, but we're mostly going to focus on Virginia here with Humana, and maybe we'll sing some Country Roads as well. I want to make sure all of you remember to, bottom of this video, click on that subscribe button. Helps us get all our content throughout this channel here to you, near and far, with Bill Cray and everything else we're doing here at Neishloss Fleming. Click that subscribe button. It's free to do so. It makes it easier on us to get our content to you. And also a reminder to follow us all throughout social media, and as well as our website, nandfinc.com, where you can find this and all the podcasts there archived for you in the Neishloss Podcast section. So, Zach, we're not going to talk about WVU or Country Roads anymore right now. We got to get into the nitty-gritty of why we're actually doing this show. So, to get involved here, Humana has a well-developed portfolio of plans. I mean, Humana is a major carrier. It's certainly known across the country. It's a major brand name, but it has a lot going on, and it has a well-developed portfolio in Virginia in particular, and it's been there a while, so customers are kind of aware of it. But this might be hard, of course. But in terms of Humana down there in Virginia, what are a couple plans that stand out to you that have experienced growth, or maybe should, or are popping to you that certainly should be plans that agents are aware of that clients more often than not would gravitate towards?
Yeah, sure, man. And I'm glad you called out that name brand. I like
right.
to
Absolutely.
say it's kind of like Coke, right? Like Coca-Cola makes Coke.
Yeah, sure.
Humana does Medicare Advantage. And especially here in Virginia, you know, we started when these plans really went nationwide back in 2005, beginning to build that Virginia market. Right. And as a result of that, we probably have like 50 plans. So it's hard to whittle it down. It's hard to whittle it down to two. But I also don't want to intimidate anyone.
Right.
Part of the reason that we have all these different plans is that in the state of Virginia, we have 5 submarkets. So we've got Richmond, Tidewater, Roanoke, Southwest Virginia, and Northern Virginia.
Okay. And
so within each of those submarkets, you're going to find what we call a core HMO. We have some type of zero premium HMO that has some really strong benefits, especially like Richmond and Tidewater. Our HMOs there, the H6622-005 and the 6622-004. Those plans have the largest amount of membership in our market within those anchor HMOs, and those plans also experience a lot of growth. When you think of the benefits in those plans, you know, it's kind of like the Joe Namath commercials, right? Where everything's zero, and you get transportation.
People ask about that all the time.
Stuff.
Yeah. The great marketing job having Joe Namath in there. Broadway Joe definitely gets people to remember. Absolutely.
Oh, I'm telling you, man, it's phenomenal. They've done a great job marketing that. But you know, like those plans have transportation in there, the OTC, the dental, you know, hearing aid coverage at a really low copay. Really good hearing aids. And so really within each of those areas, Roanoke has a strong zero premium HMO. Nova has one. Out in Southwest Virginia, I was actually an agent out in Southwest Virginia for 12 years before I stepped into this role. We've got 3 different HMOs down there. So a lot of options. The plan that's really experienced the most growth, though, for us is a zero premium PPO that we have in Northern Virginia and in Central Virginia. The PPO is around the Fredericksburg area.
Okay.
It's also in like the Winchester, Virginia, northern part of the state, all the way down that West Virginia line for the most part. And then in Central Virginia, it's down in Danville, kind of up to Bedford. And it's this PPO that has zeros in all the right places, like zero premium, zero PCP, zero out-of-network deductible, and zero RX deductible.
Okay.
So to me, those are the right places.
Right.
Zeros in all the right places. But we expanded that plan into 11 counties. I'm sorry, Northern Virginia was 11 counties. Central Virginia was like 5. So a total of 16 counties that we expanded that plan into for 2021. And these are counties that we typically just had like a $60 PPO in before. And now coming in with this zero premium option, it's just really taken off and exploded. So those are some areas that, as we were talking with different partners about leading up to AEP, they said, hey, where should we really focus? We said, look, we've got this zero PPO going into these various counties, and you really need to look at that. And sure enough, that's been a hot plan for us. We also have some really cool plans where they're original Medicare lookalike benefits.
Okay.
So if you've been in this business long enough, you're going to come across someone who doesn't want to pay the specialist copay because they're paying like whatever 20% is that they're paying now on original Medicare is actually less. And so the cool thing is we've got these plans out there that mirror the original Medicare plan benefits, but they have some supplemental benefits that really look like the benefits you would get on a D-SNP plan, but it's not a D-SNP plan. So they work well with people who are dual eligible. And on those plans, we structured them to where if someone has LIS, the plan's going to end up being a zero premium option for them. So those are some really cool plans in our market. And then the last thing I'll highlight, and hopefully we'll get a chance to talk about it some more, is our honor plan. We were able to launch the honor plan. Yeah. So that was exciting, man. Statewide, Humana had those in other states across the country, but for 2021, we brought it to Virginia, and that's been really exciting to see the numbers that we've gotten out of that plan.
It also, and we'll get there, but it also seems like it fits in Virginia, maybe even more so than anywhere else, when you think about what Humana is doing for the veteran community and the veteran community in that area. It seems like it makes sense to be there for sure. Zach Choate, the broker relationship manager with Humana in Virginia here, Mike Asti on the Neishloss Podcast. And obviously, as you just heard from Zach, Humana has a lot going on in Virginia, and hearing zeros certainly is a positive for sure for some people, especially when you get zeros and you get benefits. So there's Medicare plans out there where you're getting zeros, but you're not really getting as many benefits. Getting zeros and getting benefits, certainly that sounds like, that's as great as it can get, really, certainly for some people in terms of their Medicare coverage. Now, diving in even further. So these are plans. There's tons of plans. There's certainly some great ones for Humana, and we mentioned the brand name. And I didn't even need to ask this, but I've asked some reps with some other carriers in terms of what distinguishes Humana besides the brand name, but it is what they're doing for the veteran community, what they're doing, and we'll get to this later too, for the social media endeavor in the challenging times we're living in, and advancement in technology and making it easier on agents, and also all these plans and the benefits and everything they're offering. But looking at some of those plans, because of the world we're living in, and it's certainly a different world out there, and is going to continue to be so regardless of vaccines, etc. This is now an adapting world, a new world that we're living in. So it can be challenging, and it can also elicit that, agents are dealing with talking to people on video chat platforms. They're dealing with technology. They don't have all day to be able to get out what they want to say. They're not going to be able to sit at a kitchen table and have milk and cookies and sit there for 3 hours with somebody. So they only can get so much out. So what would you say is the single most attractive benefit, or if there are a couple that you want to mention, that agents need to get across to clients? Obviously, every client's different, but what are some distinctive benefits that if you have a reduced amount of time that you got to get your point across if you really are selling Humana the best you possibly can based on everything that Humana is offering?
Yeah, sure. So just to kind of give you a little bit of insight, I guess, beyond just what you would maybe read in a summary of benefits, when I look at the Virginia market and I think about how it operates, we have a fantastic network in Virginia. And that's a huge deal when we're talking about Medicare Advantage plans, HMO, PPO options. And so if you go out to Humana's website and you go to search the directory, you're going to see Humana Gold Plus HMO, and it's going to actually list out Virginia, North Carolina, Maryland, Delaware, DC, because we lump in all those territories into what we call the Mid-Atlantic market. And so the cool thing is, if someone's on an HMO plan, even if they're in Richmond, they're not restricted to Richmond doctors. They can actually go anywhere within Virginia and North Carolina and see a Gold Plus HMO doctor. They're going to be considered to be in our network. And we have some just name brand facilities, UVA, Duke. And so one thing that people have a concern on a Medicare Advantage plan is, am I going to be able to access the care that I need to access? And so the thing that we're really excited about at Humana is this fantastic network that we can offer members. I mean, in Southwest Virginia, I had people go to Vanderbilt. I had people go to Cleveland Clinic because Humana has a Cleveland Clinic HMO plan. So it's that's one thing that I really would highlight, is just the strength of the network and being able to access, Roanoke HMO, Tidewater, Richmond. Really doesn't matter where you live within the two states, you can access HMO doctors across both of those, or even multiple states. So that strength, as well as the customer service. So sometimes we forget how important, customer service can truly be. And Humana has been ranked #1 by Newsweek for multiple years in a row now as providing the best customer service. And then we have some fantastic tools on the agent perspective through our Vantage portal, where you can manage your book of business. Someone has a problem, you just create a service inquiry. I went slow for that, man, because that's so hard to say fast. Service inquiry.
Everyone will soak it in. Everyone can soak it in.
Soak it in.
Yeah.
That's right, man. And then, you have some excellent support, too, from our level as well. So I'm a broker relationship manager. There's also Jennifer Meyer. She is fantastic. Jennifer Meyer's been covering this role for the last couple of years. And then we have Lynn Parody. Lynn Parody's a broker relationship executive, as well as we have a lot of different market managers. So please just reach out to us if you need some help. So from a customer service standpoint, if you send something in, you think, boy, that doesn't sound right, just send it up to us. And so to kind of answer your question from a benefit perspective, it's the significance of a really strong network, excellent customer service. And then one thing that's really cool with Humana is our Go 365 program. As far as something that's unique, we have this reward program that really incentivizes our members to get their preventive screenings done, to use the Silver Sneakers gym membership, to do what they can to enhance their well-being, right? Because that's Humana's whole thing is, we don't want to be an insurance company. We want to be a well-being company.
Right.
And that's what that Go 365 program does. It's unique to Humana, and people are going to earn gift cards at the end of the year. And so and they can earn up to $345 worth of gift cards. And it's just really sticky, especially from, you building your business and you're putting your member in with a company that's really going to provide excellent care for that person. We're just so proud of how Humana responded during COVID and sending out the face masks. And even right now, people can access a COVID kit with Humana, where we're going to send them face masks and other gear. In the summary of benefits, that actually reads Healthy Essentials kit. But just the all-around care that you get with Humana that goes above and beyond just the copay that you see in the book, right? It's like that that spirit of care there. So that's really something that I would highlight as well.
And for sure, I would definitely agree. And I've experienced seeing that with Humana, and we have a lot of Humana agents here at Neishloss, and certainly that's what we hear from them. Don't really hear any horror stories with Humana in terms of customer service, and that's so important right now, especially during a pandemic and the year that we just had. It's a challenge and an adapting situation for agents, especially agents maybe who weren't as prone to be on using technology and be on social media as maybe prior, that now are getting used to it and now are realizing that you have to adapt and you have to adjust in order to survive really in this climate. And they certainly don't want to have to be sweating if something gets submitted properly, etc. So having people like yourself able to kind of calm that down, plus even having, I believe on the Vantage portal has a kind of a social media guideline tool. I forget what it's called actually. The MRC tool there it is. So it can actually kind of almost provide you a blueprint of using social media, and you can use those blueprints there and type in your post there and then have it go to your social media pages without actually having to actually do it on those pages. So it's a SparkNotes version of using social media. So that could even be helpful as well. So again, Zach Choate here, a broker relationship manager with Humana down there in Virginia. And for a little tease, maybe we'll get him to close out the show singing Country Roads. I don't know if we're going to get him to play guitar. Didn't plan that ahead of time. Didn't know who was able to play. But we still like that background there for him. Now, obviously, Zach, I mean, Humana is one of those major carriers. It's known across the country, and it wouldn't have staying power if it wasn't for the benefits and it wasn't for what can be offered by Humana. And certainly, one of these benefits, and something that Humana really, really prides itself on, of course, it wants to be about, hashtag Humana Cares. It wants to be more caring about people than just trying to make money and just being an insurance company in that realm. But Humana has really put an emphasis on the veteran community. We alluded to this earlier in the show. You touched on it a little bit briefly. We want to dive in a little further right now. I know from talking to Judy G and other of your colleagues, Humana just really, if there's one market they wanted to make a statement in this past year, it was the veterans community above all else. And Humana's doing a lot for the veteran community. You mentioned the Humana Honor Plan, which is something that allows people to, use pharmacy benefits beyond just the VA. But can you touch on, what Humana is offering, going further into the Humana Honor Plan, and what Humana is offering for veterans, why that's so important for that veteran community, and then what contributing factors do you believe has really led to the success of these plans? Because there's still a challenge when an agent is trying to sell the veteran community in terms of they maybe don't want to change things. Whatever they're doing now, they don't want to risk it. They might be nervous there. And then also, you have to get through the hurdle of asking this person if they are a veteran. If they're not going to tell you, you need to ask them. Or you may not know. They may think they're fine and may not tell you, and then you're not serving them in that respect. So what's a part of Humana Honor and these veteran benefits, and why have they been so successful? Because I would definitely say, and you're not paying me to say this, that Humana has definitely set themselves apart from the rest in terms of what they're trying to do for the veteran community in particular.
Yeah, hey, thanks, Mike. No doubt. I mean, Humana really started this journey several years ago where they created this whole division of, we have veteran account executives. I mean, their whole job is to build a relationship with the veteran community. And so when you look at a benefit standpoint of someone who has Medicare and they also get VA benefits, it's just such a unique situation. Of course, there's a lot of confusion. People think that maybe they're billing Medicare in some way, shape, or form. And the reality is, of course, like the VA is its own separate health system. Mm-hmm. And then Medicare is its own separate health system. And so Humana looked at that and they thought, you know what? How can we position them? How can we create a Medicare Advantage plan that's just going to complement the health care that these veterans already have? So you think about it like through the VA, they already have prescription drug coverage. A lot of times they can actually get hearing aids and vision through the VA. And so they do a lot of stuff through the VA already. They're really only using their Medicare in an emergency type of situation,
right,
in an urgent care type of situation. And so Humana thought, okay, let's make the benefits really strong in the areas where these veterans are going to need it. And so instead of putting a lot of money into the pharmacy, you know, they created this MA only plan. And then said, hey, you know, instead of putting money in the pharmacy benefit, we're going to reduce the premium of their Medicare Part B premium. And so they give these vets this really sweet, like in Virginia, we actually have a $50 Part B give back. And I know it can be different in different states, but it was really nice to see that $50 Part B give back on the honor plan. Mm-hmm. And then another thing that vets don't get is they typically don't get comprehensive dental through the VA. Now some of them might get some dental coverage to the VA, but a lot of them don't. So $2,000 comprehensive dental covering dentures, covering crowns, that's a really huge benefit. And a low copay at urgent care of $20, emergency room copay of only $90, without having to pay some sort of deductible first and then 20%, you know, compared to just having original Medicare. The plan also has a real low copay on outpatient surgery too. So just some of those situations where a vet may try and access healthcare outside of the VA, you know, they're providing that a low copay there. But then to give them that reduction in their Part B premium and to give them that $2,000 dental, as well as the other stuff we love at Humana, right? Like the Go 365 that I mentioned, and the Silver Sneakers gym membership, and the ability to get some over-the-counter items, and the hearing aid benefit too, even though they could access that through the VA. Maybe they don't like the hearing aids that the VA provides, and they would like the hearing aid options that are available through True Hearing. So, yeah, man, they just did a fantastic job. And then some of the excellent work that our veterans team has done is just the partnerships that they've made. I mean, national partnerships with VFW, Disabled Vets of America, and then the last one that came in for 2021 that we're all really excited about is USAA. I mean, that USAA brand really stands on its own 2 feet, right? Like
Speaking brand. Of brands, and I would also imagine that partnering with those brands and doing this for the veteran community also makes you feel good. Not only do you feel good in general by helping the Medicare community, and obviously Humana cares, and we hear actually from our CEO here at Integrity, Brian Adams, that 2 things agents should really remember and keep in mind, and this is how you can be successful in doing this right, is making sure you serve the client and taking care of them. And then once you do that, the money will come. So remember that it's about taking care of people, and the money will come once you do that properly. So that's something that Humana certainly makes very evident as a goal of theirs, and it makes you feel good when you're really helping veterans like this, who it's confusing sometimes to deal exclusively with the VA. This might be easier for them, when you know, potentially, and it doesn't have to ruin what they're doing as well. They could kind of dip in both pots if that makes them feel better, because they're already dealing with the VA. Zach Choate, broker relationship manager with Humana, as we're discussing what's going on with Humana in the Virginia market here. Mike Asti, of course, on this edition of the Neishloss Podcast. I want to remind you, as we're getting towards moving things towards closing this show off here, a couple of questions here left for Zach. Bottom of the video, click on that subscribe button. It helps us get content to you, and it also helps you get a notification when any of our content goes up on the channel. And of course, follow us throughout social and find our content on our website, certainly the archive content of this podcast over there at nandfinc.com. Now, Zach, not to close this off on a negative note here, because Humana's obviously doing some big things, but there's always going to be some challenges that exist just in general, and going to be some challenges that are brought up. So in terms of selling Humana in Virginia, and you mentioned that you used to sell Humana in Virginia, you used to sell insurance in Virginia, you were in the market for 12 years prior to this role, so that's a big deal. Certainly can add some comfort for agents that you've been in their shoes. And also, I gotta say, I'm impressed that you seemingly have all this memorized. I don't see your eyes looking at anything. You got it all up here, so that's great as well.
So
what advice?
Heart, man, it's just from the heart.
So what advice would you provide then, since you got it all in your brain and you've also experienced it firsthand, in terms of any challenges that may exist? If an agent comes to you and says, hey, I got it, I agree with you, but this keeps getting brought up, I'm not getting sales, what do you think they're maybe telling you? What challenges do you think exist and how to overcome those?
Yeah, fantastic question. First off, man, there's no challenges in Virginia, brother. It's all smooth sailing.
Of course,
no,
of course.
That's a bad.
It's all
bad
sunshine,
answer.
rainbows, and unicorns over there. Yep.
Yeah, you got it. It is for lovers.
Right.
Virginia is for lovers.
Of course.
But no, really, we do have a goal. The team that I'm on, myself, Jennifer, and Lynn, we have a goal to make Humana the easiest to sell.
Okay.
And so one challenge you might face is maybe a doctor's not shown in our network that you think should be in the network. Maybe you've got a contact in the Roanoke area and they say they're doctors with Carilion. Well, we have like this blanket contract with Carilion, but they can't find the doctor in the network or something. Mm-hmm. So just reach out to us. We have some tools. We can help walk you through that. See a provider that you think, I think this doctor should be in there. Let me try and verify that. We can help you with that. As far as Humana goes operationally, really just our market, that whole side of it, has just done a fantastic job. Obviously, probably the challenges we face more often than not now is just, there's just so much happening in the Medicare Advantage space now, and so many different options and things. But from a network-wise, there may be certain pockets of the state where we may have a doctor or two missing, but that's actually kind of rare. I would, if I think about challenges, your biggest one would probably be COVID right now, right? And so,
Sure.
Especially from a field agent perspective or a field broker, we're used to maybe getting into food pantries, or we're used to going to these different places to try and build up business. Mm-hmm. And so one way we can work to really kind of overcome that, and you actually mentioned it earlier, is the social media tools we have. So through our marketing resource center, you can create Facebook ads. So although people may not be going different places physically now, about everyone's on Facebook within
Right.
the senior community. It's phenomenal, some of the data that's come out around like the percentage of seniors who are on Facebook. And I'm getting so many agents now that are reaching out to me saying, hey, I ran this Facebook ad, I boosted it, and I wrote 2 apps. So, I mean,
Yeah, it can be done. Yeah.
It can be done. And so some of the challenges you may face is just still trying to pivot and learn how to operate in this digital world that we're in, and learning how to market in that aspect. And so please reach out to myself or Jennifer or Lynn. We're constantly doing trainings on how to use the Marketing Resource Center, how to create ads. You can take a professional photo or even a photo on your iPhone, email it to me. I know how to work it up the specs. And so you can put a photo of yourself on an ad and your name and you can get yourself out there, both digitally, direct mail wise. We just have a lot of different tools that we can help you market with. So I would say probably the greatest challenge is not so much from a operation standpoint or a product standpoint, as much as it is we're still probably learning how to market right in this new environment.
Yeah,
and,
new to say the least, but it is certainly an environment that's here to stay. And really, when you think about it, as much as COVID certainly forced more people to do more digital marketing and made social media even that much more important, it's not like it was avoidable anyway. It just expedited the process. We were headed in this direction anyway. This has certainly just expedited the process. And of course, you need to adjust in order to survive. And Humana helping you do that with the MRC tool that we mentioned earlier. So again, it can be posting on social media without having to really dive in fully and understand everything with social media, because leads and apps, it all can happen there. Certainly can. And that also segues into kind of something that we offer here at Neishloss and Fleming. So we actually have, of course, a part of our marketing team and a part of what we're doing here. Not only myself and the others can answer any questions as well, like Zach and his crew that you may have about Humana or anything else we're doing here at Neishloss, but we also have a relationship with a former agent, a program that he runs called Snoozy, and that certainly can be something that helps you with social media marketing and digital marketing as well. He can get to know you, create a website, create social channels for you, and kind of do that work for you. So there's almost no reason to really not get involved if you're working with us, and if you're working with Humana, certainly in Virginia, you should be working with Humana, and I think you should be working with us as well, and that can make sense. That program's heavily discounted when you have contracts through us here at Neishloss. And just in general here, of course, Humana, a major carrier that we deal with, certainly have tons of Humana agents here at Neishloss. We have an in-house graphic designer who can create business cards, postcards, mailers, everything like that under the sun. We have a lot of what's going on a daily basis all across our social media channels, of course, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and of course on our website again, nandfinc.com. And you can certainly call us to discuss even more of what we're doing. And most importantly, that I certainly should not forget, Medicare Center. It's an online enrollment platform. So we kept talking about the new world we're living in. Kitchen table visits maybe are not happening now, maybe not even going to happen in the future. You can do all your enrollment and all your work, certainly with your MAs, off Medicare Center. Go right there to look up doctors, prescription drugs, use it as a quote engine, find the rates. All there can be done. You can consolidate your whole MA business and actually get the sale there as well. So certainly call us with more information on Medicare Center. And there's a past podcast in our archives that discusses Medicare Center, which certainly is a platform that can make your life easier, the agent, which is the most important thing out here in this challenging world. Zach, we definitely appreciate the time. So before I get you to sing us out with Country Roads, any final words in terms of the what's going on with Humana in Virginia, and just anything out there that you wanna say to agents or maybe even clients, because of course both could be listening to the show.
Yeah, no, just want to say thank you so much to everyone out there who's partnered with Humana, whether you're an agent or a member. Really just do appreciate that. And especially here in this Virginia market, we had such a fantastic AEP. We were in the top 5 markets for the whole country in so many areas, and within the Northeast, within the top 3. And really that has to do with the people here that I'm talking to. So thank you so much. And obviously with Neishloss, I mean, you guys are awesome. The tools you provide, the YouTube videos that are out there, the podcasts. I actually was watching a YouTube video back during the whole like COVID SEP thing. I was like YouTubing like, what's this going on? Like people coming up with this.
Okay.
And the cool thing was I was researching it. It was your FMO that actually had the resource out there that even I was finding because YouTubing. Right. So I just think it's so cool. Obviously, you are on the cutting edge of providing these kind of digital resources for your agents, and so I think that's great. And really do appreciate our partnership and this opportunity to talk today. So
no problem.
So much.
We definitely appreciate you jumping aboard the show. We'll definitely have to talk here again soon, and certainly keep on discussing Humana as part of our podcast series. And to make this clear, I'm well aware that West Virginia and Virginia are 2 different states. Fully aware of that. We discussed it off the show. I certainly well aware of that. This show definitely discusses what's going on in Virginia, in the Virginia market with Humana. But since he's from West Virginia, since I'm a WVU alum, and since, Country Roads can be more than just for West Virginia, it's played across the country, I feel like we got to go out that way. So for all of us at Neishloss and Fleming Integrity Marketing Group, make sure Zach's ready here.
That's right. Thanks, brother. You can see how I work now. I'm business up top, sweatpants on the bottom, brother.
That's perfect. I certainly can relate.
Great,
certainly during the working from home days, I certainly can relate. But again, for all of us at Neishloss and Fleming Integrity Marketing Group, my producer Ryan Bergman, I'm Mike Asti, and that's Zach Choate, who broker relationship manager with Humana, as he is now going to sing us out until we meet again.
Almost heaven, West Virginia, Blue Ridge Mountains, Shenandoah River. Although from a geography standpoint, those places are in Virginia. Life
there you
is
go.
old
Makes
there,
sense.
older than the trees. That's right. Younger than the mountains, blowing like a breeze. Country roads, take me home to the place I belong. West Virginia, Mountain Mama, take me home. Country road,